I've been an entrepreneur for, I don't know, about 10 years now. And in my entrepreneurial pursuits, I have become a healthcare consultant, a professional speaker, and I do various different types of medical reviews and disability file reviews. There came a time though, probably about 7 years into me being self-employed, that I decided that I wanted to focus primarily on my professional speaking. And then I was at a place in my life where I really wanted to start my own nonprofit organization. But again, trying to coordinate all of that was a little bit difficult for me to figure out how to pull things together. And about the same time, 3 years ago, wow, you know what? It may be 4 years ago now. But either way, at the same time, a friend of mine that I had spoken for before reached out and contacted me, and she said, "Hey, Sheri, I know this great lady. She's putting on this fantastic program, and she's looking for a speaker, and I threw your name out." I said, "Okay." And that woman happened to be Annette Comer. And so I engaged with Annette, and we talked, and she told me what she wanted me to present at her women's conference. And I didn't meet her until I actually flew there, and it was probably about 2 hours before I was due to speak. But we had communicated via email, and we had spoken on the phone. And at this conference, there were about anywhere between 35 to 40 women. And I came in at a time when she was teaching and instructing. So I got an opportunity to see how she presented, how she engaged with her audience. And I found that we had similarities. She likes to maintain direct eye contact. She likes to answer questions with detail so that an individual walking away has a clear perception of the material that she's introducing, or have a clear understanding as to where they are and where they want to go. And so I got so much out of just listening to her that when it was time for me to get up and speak, I just thought, dang, I wish I could sit here and listen more to her. So I got up and spoke, and it went over very well. I got a standing ovation. I felt very good about that. And at first I had planned to just leave, just come in, speak, head right out. Even though I still had the full day and I had learned so much in the first couple of hours, I decided after I spoke, I'm going to stay for the rest of the day, and met some fantastic women. It's so funny how you think that you have a certain level of education and a certain level of experience, and you don't necessarily think you're all of that, but it's just amazing at how other women who look like you, and they may be a little bit more quiet than you, when you get them to talk about their experiences and their expertise, you find out, oh my goodness, these women are freaking brilliant. They're brilliant in their own right, but yet they still felt like something was missing, and so they came to her conference. When she would teach, I realized, oh, well, there were some things that I was missing too. And so I kind of felt like, felt a little jiffed because I'm here as a speaker, and I really felt like I really wanted to be an attendee. So after that day was over, her and I had clicked so well that we maintained contact. I would call her and ask her for certain advice. She would call me and kind of bounce some things off of me, you know, trying to get together and, you know, well, what do you think about the conference that I first had? Do you think that it would be beneficial to continue putting a series like that on? You know, were the right caliber of women present? Or should I cut back a little bit? And things like that. Just getting the opinion of someone who she had invited as a speaker, but who had later told her that there were things, even though I felt that I was well accomplished, there were things that she taught that I realized that I didn't know. So I thought that she was brilliant in the sense that she didn't mind picking up the phone and getting opinions from various different individuals so that she could pull together something that was meaningful to her audience. And so I told her, I said, if you do this again, I'm coming as a participant, a paid participant, and I want to get something out of it. And so she put together this World's Greatest Women Academy. And she gave me the dates. I immediately booked. It was, no question as to whether or not I was going to do it. The only initial hesitation that I had was cost. Because at the time now, by the time this new series came along, I had progressed in my professional speaking career. Was in the process of applying to become a certified speaking professional, of which there are only a few hundred of us in the world. And that didn't come without expense. And then I had started my own nonprofit organization. And, anytime you start any type of business, it requires funds. And when you're a new nonprofit, you're not going to get a whole bunch of grants flowing your way, because most grants are dependent upon, well, what have you done in the past and where else are you getting money from? So a lot of this was coming out of my own pocket. So I was torn between, do I take that kind of money like from Live Today to go do this? And then I thought about it. I'm like, well, maybe if I go, I could learn how to better position Live Today so that I don't have to come out of pocket as much for Live Today. So I bit the bullet, paid my fee, and went to this World's Greatest Women Academy. So freaking glad I did. It was an intimate setting. There were only 10 of us there, hand selected. So it wasn't another thing I love about it, it wasn't let me just throw this out on the internet and whoever registers. It was a personal interview process where she had the opportunity she was the one that selected the individuals who would come. And so if she felt that you could benefit from this, she was very honest with you. If she felt that, no, you're beyond this, you need something at a next level higher, then I got something else for you, not this particular conference. Or if she felt like, you really need to start at a lower level, she was very open with that. When I went for this 2.5-day retreat, I was floored, because there was nothing that she really talked about or taught us that I really previously knew. There may have been certain terminology that I knew, certain concepts that I knew, but how to put them all together, I realize as accomplished as I am, I already have 17 initials behind my name. None of those 17 initials had prepared me for what I was able to get over those 2.5 days. It was just absolutely fantastic. And the friendships that were forged with those 10 women in the room, invaluable. I really learned how to appreciate how having a circle of women who think like you, who have similar aspirations as you, who may be risk takers like you, how much you can feed off of each other and how much you can learn from each other. And it made me realize that there were some people that I was carrying in my circle. They were really hindering me, because I would talk about branching off and doing a nonprofit, and I get all the negative feedback and the negative reasons why. Whereas with this group of women, it was like, absolutely, you can do it. Consider doing da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they gave me fruitful information that I was actually able to take back home and utilize. So it was fantastic. And needless to say, after that, when she proposed, hey, would you consider being part of an intimate executive women's inner circle? This is now going a step higher. This is now a greater financial commitment. Before I left, here was the form. I filled it out, gave my credit card number, because I realized at first, that first step, the first course, that I took. I was about to let finances dictate whether or not I went. I learned so much from going that I had no doubt, even though it was a higher financial commitment, I had no doubt in my mind that it would be worth it. I immediately signed up, and let me tell you, since signing up, remember my two big things is professional speaking and my own nonprofit. My professional speaking has grown by leaps and bounds, and my nonprofit, oh my word, my approach to it has changed. Doors have opened up because I've learned how to make my ask. I've learned how to ask women versus men differently, whereas before I was doing it the same way. Most of the people that I were encountering were men, and so I was going about it the wrong way. I was presenting the premise of Live Today differently. I wasn't telling why I actually started it, but rather just relaying my mission statement and our goals. Boring. But I thought that that was what people wanted to hear. When I learned how to flip that, which I did in this inner circle, I've gone from supplying my own compression garments for my nonprofit to now having 4 major garment manufacturers willing to give the garments to my organization for free. I even have one organization already committed to funding a physician healthcare event where I teach them, I'll bring in other teachers to teach them about lymphedema and what it means, and creating a network and resource for their patients. And that's just the one. Now the other 3 want to talk to me about funding one of these events so that they can be seen as co-branding and caring about the community that they serve, but have been serving from a financial perspective because they've had customers to actually pay for these garments. But now they get to show their philanthropic side by actually offering free compression garments to women who can't afford them. All of this has happened for me since taking the first course, and then thusly since joining and becoming a part of the executive women's inner circle. Again, this smaller circle, now only 5 of us, again, friendship, work relationships have forged. I and another woman in the inner circle, just talking casually, realized that she sits on the board of a nonprofit that actually gives other nonprofits funding for programs and services. And I thought, well, I have a nonprofit and we need funding. And now I'm not necessarily just looking for a handout because I have 4 other organizations that's giving me money. And now her and I, just last night, just in less than 24 hours, have already discussed how to put together a proposal for her organization to provide us with money such that we can now do what I'm providing now in the Midwest and Southern states to now be able to do it in the Eastern states. I'm telling you, life for me is so much better. I feel more confident. I feel more secure in my communication skills. I am definitely over the moon with the changes that has happened with my nonprofit. And I know that the relationships that I have garnered and gained through the women throughout this program and how Annette has managed to bring us all together has been absolutely phenomenal. I wouldn't change a thing. Wouldn't change a thing. I'm grateful.